Have you ever wondered how non-profit leaders set a vision and drive meaningful impact? In this highlight reel, we sit down with our CEO, Sasaki, to dive deep into the International Humanity Foundation's vision and goals for the second half of the year. If you're new here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you're just getting familiar with IHF, let me fill you in on who we are and what we stand for.
Woke up today, the sun is shining.
Founded in early 2001, the International Humanity Foundation, or IHF, is a non-profit organization on a mission to educate marginalized children, activating their highest potential, while nurturing healthy, loving communities around them. Our happiness is tied directly to the happiness of the world's children tomorrow, transcending all political and religious differences. And that's not all. IHF also educates global citizens through real-life experiences, both online and in person, about the realities faced by marginalized communities, while teaching practical skills to aid those in need. In short, we aim to give a voice to the voiceless. Now that you understand where we come from, let's look at where we're headed. Recently, we had an insightful conversation with Carol, who shared reflections on the last few months at IHF, the successes, the struggles, and the achievements.
Let's seize the light, let joy surround. In every moment, love is found.
Started it with our darling, amazing, oh my God, so beautiful, Dia and Marcella, and in Indonesia, and it was going really well. So we decided to expand it, and I did so probably too quickly. And I told my other projects that I would need to take time off, and the centers that I couldn't focus on them as much as I normally do, and the children. I warned everyone that I would be focused on training our online GLD, but as is so typical of learning anything new in life, I mean, it's just normal, and you'd think by my age I'd know, but I'm a slow learner. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it would. And the result of that is I have children who are feeling like I don't love them and taking it personally because I haven't been giving them the time they usually get from me. And I have centers who feel like I've completely neglected them. And government reports and things that are due around that. At the same time, I'm still in the midst and having to repeat instructions for teams. And along with repeating instructions is something else that is so normal in any kind of leadership, and that is instructions when you're dealing with transient populations, which volunteers are, which students are, and which your very poor have no choice but often are. Other than tribes that are out in outer areas and they have the opposite problem, they're not able to go anywhere and are not given land rights and stuck in places that are no longer very habitable. But otherwise, that transience is a normality in doing many forms of first response rescue work or social movement changes or charity.
Let's seize the light, let joy surround. In every moment, love is found.
As Carol continued, she painted a vivid picture of the current activities and initiatives taking place at our centers. IHF operates 3 major centers in Thailand, Indonesia, and Kenya. And she provided some crucial updates on each of them.
Kenya has struggled last month. It struggled in terms of that taking place, the thefts. Kevin, who was a child with us, and the Kenya government said you must leave at 18, and had him return to Phuket, even though he had excellent grades. And we really wanted to get him a sponsor and go on to university. He and some other children were sent by the government to Phuket. And I'm sure the government had its good reasons. It's just for us, we were attached to those children. And I've been very anxious to find Kevin. Finally, we found Kevin, and he is at the center helping greatly. He needs a lot of healing. And that's true for anyone who, when you lose your parents in horrible ways, when you are a witness to different tribal wars or abuse, those things stay in all of us, in every human being. And it just takes healing. But that's the thing that IHF is about. That healing, that having been through such pain and healing is what makes them the best leads and incredible, compassionate, wise human beings later. So Kevin is there. Naomi and her husband Mika are both teachers, and they're at the center. So that's wonderful. I'm so delighted about that. Stephen has just come on as the newest GLD, and Stephen's whole area is websites. He adores websites. He does coding itself, which will be very helpful, and I'm sure Shami will be relieved for our website. So he is there now. That's that wonderful, wonderful place. And then for Indonesia, in Jakarta, they have been doing workshops and classes. They have not gone above, I think it's the 200 to that 800 student mark they used to have. And I think that's wise of them. They're keeping it to the weekends post-pandemic until we open to the GLD from various countries and GLD at the centers, which I've not had time to focus on. And then we'll go back to the weekly. So right now they do that, and very valuable workshops along with teaching so many children who in Indonesia, I think they're third in the world for per population. The children who are not able to go from middle school to high school that are decent enough to get the scores to be able to ever even consider getting a college degree or even high school. They don't complete high school. So that's our focus, a very strong focus in Indonesia, and to try to work with the parents to convince them of why it's worthwhile for their entire family, for their children to get educated in certain field areas, and to let the children experience they're not too stupid to, which most children, if they've not had a good schooling, they think it's their brain and that they're just not smart. So they don't have any enthusiasm for it. We all feel enthusiastic with what makes us feel good, not what makes us feel bad. And the same is true. The same activities are going on for Medin.
Let's seize the light, let joy surround. In every moment, love is found.
But that's not all. IHF has been expanding beyond our physical centers with an exciting new development, the online GLD, or Global Leadership Development Program. This new initiative is already making waves. Here is Carol explaining how the GLD program has been progressing and what it means for IHF's future.
If you're in a loving environment, then even dealing with such crises has a team spirit and a river feeling of love, of connection with all humanity. But if you don't have that, then it becomes psychologically too much for individuals. And that's part of the learning, and that takes a lot of my time, just as online, which is much more practical teaching, takes a lot of time. So I will have to be spending time with the AT Center in Kenya, and then in Thailand, and then in Bali. They're all wanting it all at once. But it takes months of day in and day out interaction and learning, and in the spirit of being connected to each other, and love and compassion, and motivating each other with joy. For the online GLD, I think I am at a point, and this is my fault, it's always been my fault. I have a tendency, I hope everyone listening doesn't have this, and learns from something that has been a lifelong fault of mine. I have a tendency of staying too long in a situation and trying and getting emotional in the context of the situation. So I hurt the people because I've spent too long, tried too hard, and now find myself too emotional and too invested. And that's not wise. Most of you will have already learned where this 70-year-old and doing it day in and day out with literally thousands a year in volunteers and employees has yet to learn. So feel invigorated by the fact that I've been able to have a very joyous, fulfilling life with wonderful organizations and amazing human beings.
Beyond the GLD program, Caro also shared IHF's key goals and projects for the upcoming months. These initiatives will be pivotal in shaping our path forward.
And we do it using this form. And if we don't, I'll be so relieved. Grandma will be dancing grandma jig. And that our GLD are learning to pay close attention to instructions and ask questions without excuses after not doing. Ask questions if they don't understand. If they don't learn to follow instructions, I can't take them to that next stage that I love, which is the motivational psychological aspect of leadership that is no different than the bliss every conductor feels when he's conducting an orchestra. It's blissful. And I've had a lifetime of that bliss. I've been so blessed. But I can't get to that point if I can't get them following simple instructions. So that is my goal for the online GLD for this coming month, is that they learn to follow instructions.
At the heart of all our efforts lies hope. The hope to create a better tomorrow for the communities we serve. And Caro's message about IHF's aspirations beautifully captured this sentiment. What do you aspire for them moving on?
Oh, I love this question. This is the question you mentioned to me that you'd be asking, and I love. And I didn't think about it. I just my heart blossomed when I saw that. My future goals are that all these wonderful, wonderful human beings start their own NGOs or are these inspirational, wonderful directors throughout the world in various international NGOs or businesses internationally that connect the people and that understand that need for every employee or volunteer to feel treasured in life, and that type of leadership is spreading. How do I word this? Oh my God, it's so important to me. It's what I treasure, that each of these individuals, just as I've been so blessed to experience so far, that each of them have impact from their experience in making this world a better place in their unique way. And it does not need to be big. It could be very big and global. It can be consulting with presidents and not have the same impact and joy as sometimes one-on-one dealing with individuals. What is big and what is small in long-term impact, none of us know. Think about amazing Eleanor Roosevelt, who did so much. And yet, one of the best things she did, bringing peace between countries and definition of boundaries, created the end of so many nomadic tribes and millions of people being trafficked because they were left out and didn't understand boundaries and didn't have a name calling them a country. So when land was given to certain countries, millions and millions of people were put into slavery. And Eleanor, who was the most gorgeous, amazing human being, did something she never meant to do. We can never define what we do as big or small or be attached to its end results. That's not what I'm talking about in terms of your impact. I'm talking about the quality of your leadership in making this world a better place in a way that makes you happy, spreads your happiness to others, makes you feel connected to humanity, which has a downside. You also feel their pain, but you feel that deep, deep river that no happiness can touch in terms of that deep, quiet bliss when you're sitting alone. That river that connects us. That kind of leadership, whether it's small or big, that's what I want for IHF to be teaching its children and its adults, while also teaching very practical needed skills, math, English, teaching online, how do you do spreadsheets, how do you track people, how do you keep the law and process applicants, how do you keep members' files or employees' files and update them, how do you... Also the practical. I want them to learn the practical, of course, but underneath the practical, that's my greatest passion for IHF, and why IHF and its grown children give me such joy that I can't even put into words and express.
Let's seize the light, let joy surround. In every moment, love is found.
If you've been inspired by what you've heard and are wondering how you can get involved, Caro also shared some valuable insights on how you can support IHF's mission.
How can you support IHF or get involved? You can be two kinds of a member. You can be an active member, which means that you're volunteering on any of our teams. And it's best if you just pick one team, unless you're a GLD, but we'll talk about that later. But you can volunteer on a team. And so that's an active membership. You can be a supporting member, which means you're sponsoring IHF, whether it's as little as a few dollars a month or a class, which varies from $14 to $36, I believe it is, a month. Or it can be a one-time donation. You can be either a sponsoring member or an active member, meaning you're volunteering, or both. And it's a basic supporting in one way or the other that's easiest for you. And you don't have to do it through IHF. You may have another charity that you do it through. But it's supporting the concept of pass it on, that we believe that each of us, though we're so busy and so stressed with our jobs, demands, that each of us can donate a little bit of time or a little bit of money to some effort that trains people to help their community, the children in their community and the adults around their community, to make this world a better place. And most importantly, to understand the joy of that. So you can help by being a volunteer, or you can help by some small donation monthly if you don't have time, but you have the means to support in some small way. Both ways are very, very meaningful.
You heard that right. Whether through volunteering, donations, or simply spreading the word, there are countless ways to be a part of the IHF journey. If you loved what we're doing, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to stay updated, and share this video with others who might want to join our mission. Together, we can make a lasting impact.